Here we are. Okay, it is Truth Seeker Podcast Day here on CHA's YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living. I want to thank all y'all, okay, who joined us on our Patreon channel, and you have unlocked access to exclusive content for as little as $5 a month. I highly appreciate y'all. And then you also have a $10 tier, and there's also a $20 a month tier. So there's different perks that come with those tiers as well. I want to go ahead and just jump on in here, and we're going to talk some more truth. We're always talking the truth, God's spiritual truth and beyond. But yes, give it a few minutes, let those notifications go out. I know my fuzzy's a little crazy today, but you know what? It's a new season. You know, it's a new season, and the Lord's got us practice running. You know, practice running on the move, and we're excited. And yeah, I know you might hear some background noise because that refrigerator. It got a mind of its own, I have to tell you. And then, of course, there's the occasional sirens and such outside. But, yeah. It has got a mind of its own, that refrigerator. I tell you, about every 45 minutes or so, it likes to... So, anyhow. It is part of the radio frequency manipulation in the Matrix. Absolutely. We're not stupid. What? Yeah, we know how the Matrix rigs things up to put out radio frequency, try to get a hold of the salt molecules in the head, trying to numb the mind. Yeah, numb that mind, and a person's easier to manipulate and control. Prevent, right, slow down circulation and prevent them from being able to think for themselves. Oh, we see it. I see it between the air conditioners and the fridges, and then of course the television, if you're watching it, if it's on, and then other things frequency, radio frequency manipulation inside the Matrix. All right, now, while those notifications are going out, I'm going to go ahead and do our usual check. Let me see here. Make sure everything is, well, before I do that, let me go ahead and clear some things out. But yeah, we're going to talk about it because it came to my attention about narcissists, the Matrix, and how they're all about these appearances. And that includes food. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, the appearance of food, like what food actually looks like when you cook. That's, yeah. And I would have to tell you, it was definitely, like what food actually, okay, it was definitely another eye-opener, another lesson, if you will, because it made me think of all those cooking shows and stuff that are out there, and the presentation of food and certain thing with that. Like, you know, and I get it, a professional setting and things like that. I understand all that, but I started to wonder about how we would get too caught up in that, and how it's easy to get too caught up in the appearance of that, because it could, well, yeah, it is another subliminal message. Think about that. Think about that for a minute. Inside the Matrix, and then the narcissist, and the way that narcissists always made a comment about looks. They always do that, how something looks. And that includes food. Like, man, that don't even look good enough to eat. Ooh, that looks good enough to eat. Oh, that looks great. All the time. Talk about how the food looks. The appearance of the food. That's what the Matrix and narcissists are all about, appearances. Because as I'm preparing my little hash brown and egg and toast breakfast, It didn't look wonderful, but it was food, and I didn't care. I said, I don't care what it looked like as long as it's cooked. As long as it's cooked. And that's when I realized, I said, wait a minute. Our whole lives, we've kind of got sucked into that with others in the Matrix about how food looks as to whether or not we'll eat it. Because we know the devil attacks our health with this radio frequency manipulation inside the Matrix, trying to attack our health, the mental health especially. Ooh, let me share with y'all something else too. I felt it when I was in Walmart. I could tell. I did. I felt when the LED lights and stuff, the heat, y'all, it's the heat from the light, not the lights themselves, but the heat I could feel when it was shining. Yeah, and here I am in the, oh gosh, we're going to talk about this in a minute. But the appearance of food is a big deal in the Matrix. Think about the billboards and think about how it's presented in the photo or in a commercial or what have you, the graphics and how it looks really good, right? And then you get to the actual restaurant. I've talked about this before, and it don't look anything like that. But if you have a short-term memory and you are mind numbed from all the radio frequency and stuff, and you're just, you think that you're so hungry, it don't even matter anymore. Food is food. That burger can look like crap, and you won't even notice it. That it don't look like the billboard. It doesn't look like what you saw in the commercial. You won't even think about that. But if you go sit down in a restaurant and you are presented a meal, let's say you get some, oh, I don't know, rainbow trout and some rice and a veggie after your salad, and if it don't look presentable, oh, narcissists will do it. You know, and it just has to look good enough to eat. It has to look a certain way. Again, I get the professional aspect. I'm not putting nobody down. I'm giving y'all some more food for thought. Truth seeking. That's what we do now in God's reality. Because if you were to try and make that same dish at home and it didn't come out looking like it did at the restaurant, well, you might get upset, and you might not eat it. You might think, well, darn. I mean, wow. But yeah, it is a subliminal messaging way to get you to focus on outward appearances all the time. Think about that. God even said, how long? Right? God don't care about outward appearances. He does not care. He don't care what color eyeshadow we put on. Ladies and gents, if you do that, it's your thing. God don't care about that. He does not care about what color lipstick I'm going to wear today. He don't care. He don't care what color earrings. He don't care what color my hair tie is. He don't care what color my socks are. God don't care about that. He don't care about them outward appearances. He's always looking with that heart out. That's why we're talking about this. Because the Matrix breeds that narcissism, and the narcissists are always focused on outward appearances. They're always focused on that. And it's really amazing when it goes all the way down to food. Like how food is supposed to look. Like really, does that really matter? As long as it is nutritional and it is edible. That's it. That's all I care about. And I never thought of it before though. But really, the gist of it is, as part of our combat against radio frequency for healthier living, of course, that's all I care about. I don't care how it looks. Okay, I really don't. And you know, as far as taste, yes, we want it to taste decent, but that's not why we're eating. Okay, we eat for nutrition. We eat, you know, for survival, but yes, we are thinking of the nutritional value. So if I make a grilled cheese sandwich, I'm focused on, okay, how many grams of protein is in that bread? that gluten protein. Okay, we got 4 grams of protein there. How many in whey protein and a slice of cheese, a couple. Okay, all right. So in that sandwich alone, I might get up to about, depending on the type of bread and all of that, we might get anywhere between 7 to 10 grams of protein in that one sandwich. All right, yay. That's what I'm thinking about. And of course, we know it's going to taste decent because, well, we made it. Chosen one. I had to throw that in there. But you know what I'm talking about. That it don't have to look a certain way. It don't have to look fantastic in order for us to eat it. It is cooked. The cheese is melted. We're going to eat it. It's that simple. Okay? So we don't get all caught up in that. But the Matrix and Narcissist, because of their focus on appearances, outward appearances, that's all they care about, really. And I'm like, wow, no wonder. No wonder. All they care about is the outside, what it looks like on the outside. And I said, man, that's deep. And that includes how your food looks, how it looks. And how many times they make references to that, and all the competition out here with, food competition stuff. Hey, to each his own. But wow, that is a big part of the breeding ground right there for narcissism, because it does. I mean, it tricks us over time into thinking that the appearance of food matters, like what it looks like matters as to whether or not it's edible. Yeah, we learn also, same concept, like, okay, it may not smell all that appetizing, but when you eat it, it's pretty decent. A lot of things that are high in nutritional value are not going to smell all that great. But, well, yeah, those of us who are doing this, eating healthier, we know this, that not, some of your all natural stuff is not going to smell fantastic. It's not going to smell bad, but it's just, yeah. But we're going to eat it because it's good. It's good for us. That's why. That's why we're going to eat it. Nutrition. Okay, the nutritional value. All right, and so as we continue to learn more about this radio frequency manipulation out here, yours truly is in Walmart. God had me get a few more things for this next season. And I said, okay. I was like, so we gearing up, getting in position and all that. It's a new season we're entering, y'all. Just stay tuned. Stay tuned. That's why I say welcome. Okay, welcome to this journey. Okay, welcome to this journey, because you are on this journey with me in God's reality, in the spiritual awakening. You're getting God's spiritual truths as we start to question everything. Everything. And so that's why I said in the beginning, a huge thank you to those who join us on our Patreon membership channel. You're gonna love the content. I'm telling you. And the podcast, the Truth Analyzer Patreon podcast. Woo! Yep, we talk more about all of this stuff. All this stuff. We're just talking and asking questions. Things like, why do they call it bowling, and all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff that we wouldn't think of before. We get rid of all the chaos and the drama, and we start to realize the radio frequency manipulation going on out here on the world stage to target our oxygen and then our health. Okay? And wants to see if our circulation. Yeah, I know the Jezebels tune in to see how we're doing. Want to see if we're still circulating. Want to see if we're still healing. Yeah. Because guess what? I did. I called it. How it happens in Walmart, or any store for that matter, with frequencies, radio frequencies. If you still have enough salt being stored up in this body, and yours truly has discovered that the big issue is trapped sweat in this season. And so it's just a matter of time for that to get out of the body. That's where we're at. And it's in the skin. So if I have something in a certain place or whatever, and it cuts into the skin a little bit because of the water trapped there, it's that salt water. And that's what the frequencies are being drawn to, because that salt acts as a magnet, right, for the radio frequency. So, that being said, I'm inside the store. As you got the LED lights, you've got the bleeps going, you've got other noises and things like that. And then here I am, I'm minding my own business. Like chosen ones, we stay in our own lane, right? We talked about that yesterday. We mind our own business. So I'm minding my own business. And I knew exactly what was going on. I'm in the aisle where I was looking for, it was time for me to get a new toothbrush, first of all. And so I'm in there and I'm looking around and there was nobody else there. And then all of a sudden, here comes this other shopper with her phone that makes beeping noises as she is, I don't know what she was doing, comparing prices or what, or doing shopping and checking out at the same time. I don't know and I don't care. All I know is it was an awful lot of beeps right there where I was. I was like, seriously? I said, okay. It was time. And I said, well, let's go to the next thing on my list. I had a list. And so then and then I go down the aisle. I'm looking at little totes. What, nobody else there. Then all of a sudden, there's a bunch of people like trying to get all in my space. And I don't know if they were looking at totes or acting like they were looking at totes. But I was like, okay, I see what. I said, I know exactly what's going on here in the spiritual. Because it was during that time, because, see, chosen ones, when we get control of our emotion and our empathy, yeah, and they can't get a read. None of them can get a read on you. You're doing your thing. You're minding your own business. You good. You good. You peaceful. You calm. You ain't got nothing. You got nothing unstable about you going on. They can sense that. And so that's what was happening. It was drawing them. And I said, okay, it's about your positive energy. And so they were trying to see if they could get on my nerves. I knew that's what they were doing. But aside from that, and it didn't work. Because I could see that's what they were doing. It was pretty obvious. I was like, wow, you ain't got to get that close to me to look at that tote. Or look at that item. You ain't got to get that close. I knew. But whatever. It didn't faze me. But I felt the different frequencies in there. And how it was, because I had a nice breakfast. I had egg, toast, hash brown, and some cherry tomatoes. I had a nice, wholesome, healthy breakfast. Not even 30 minutes. Okay, well,